Okay, the neighbors think I'm selling dope.
We're on.
Yeah.
You can stop at any point.
I don't
I'm
know
I'm gonna listen to the whole song. Tell you the truth.
I'm not selling dope.
The neighbors
The neighbors are.
No, it's the neighbors think you're selling.
I know.
Anyway, we're here.
Listen to it.
All right. Once again, seems like a long time since the last one. We're very dysfunctional, obviously.
Yeah.
We got everyone minus James. Schedule's fucked.
And Lewis
figure
as
it
usual.
We'll figure it out. We're going to start right in with the food poll, and then we're going to work our way into some baseball,
This is
some
a
basketball,
shitty
some football. So, first food poll.
All right. McDonald's versus Burger King. I'm going to go first because I feel like I'm going to be the only one voting for this. I'm going to go with BK just because I feel like there's more great options on that menu. Pass it on to texting all their friends, I guess. Let's pass this on to Joey.
I'm going to go with McDonald's for the pure fact that they have McGriddles, and that's my favorite hungover breakfast food. I haven't eaten Burger King in the last, 7 years and been happy about it, 30 minutes afterward. So I'm going to for that reason, and that reason only.
McDonald's gets the edge for me, too, of their breakfast.
It's the only you think.
I'm not even.
Oh, fuck that.
Let Jesse finish.
Ryan.
What? It's me?
What do you think?
All right. I like Burger King and I like their fries better than McDonald's. But McDonald's, yeah, basically for the breakfast, because one, those hash browns are amazing. And I honestly, because of Jesse, I didn't know what the hell a McGangbang was until then. So I'm going to go with that. And they have the mac sauce, which is mad good. So I'm going McDonald's.
All right, I guess I'll. So McDonald's won that. We'll have the poll up on Twitter later. But on to our next one this week: Wendy's and White Castle. I will go first again. I'm gonna have to go ahead and say, Wendy's.
I can get plain burgers there.
And I haven't been there in a long time, but I'm gonna say Wendy's. I don't even have a reason to back it up, to tell you the truth. The Frosties are good though, outside of food.
I mean, there's no denying that a White Castle burger is a great burger, but we don't have a White Castle even near myself, at least. So I've never actually been to an actual White Castle restaurant. I've only had frozen White Castle burgers. I mean, they're cool when you're drunk and shit. You throw a little 2-pack of them in the microwave for whatever, 8 seconds or whatever, and they fucking come out hot and ready to go. But Wendy's is just a benchmark of consistency.
Yeah.
Among the fast food game. It's, Frosties, or nuggets. I think they have the best fries in fast food.
That's sea salt, man.
The sea salt. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and give my vote to Wendy's begrudgingly because I have never actually been to a White Castle.
I'm also going to go with Wendy's because White Castle is only good if you're drunk. And that's the only time I've ever enjoyed it. I've had it sober, and it was pretty okay and super greasy. But Wendy's is probably the best burger fast food place, I would say. We'll get to that later on in the bracket. But I'm going to go with Wendy's here.
I would say it's the king of burgers, but anyway.
Brian. Brian's getting sassy.
I actually have Wendy's and White Castle both relatively close to me. I've had both. White Castle does have very good burgers. You have to get a lot of them. They're really small, but they're very good. But overall,
Oh.
what I'm saying. Overall, I have to go Wendy's with the fries. I love Wendy's nuggets. The nuggets are awesome. And that 4 for 4 is banging.
Yeah, 4 for 4 is a real good deal. All right, so we got Wendy's and McDonald's.
And Mike Dunleavy has torn his ACL. Sorry.
Who tore his ACL?
No, I'm watching the Bulls. I mean, not the Bulls, sorry. The Falcons and Falcons. Atlanta.
All right. So,
I'm just throwing off right now.
As Brian so eloquently brought up, we're going to talk about the Bulls next. This holds a special place in my heart. So I'm going to go last and talk about my sore disappointment. So who would like to go first about this lovely topic?
I'll go first because I know the least about basketball. But I've been following this story just because of the veterans involved and because I do like Dwayne Wade. And Rajon Rondo's an interesting player. And I think he is, like, waiting to get his ass beat. I think he's worse than what the fuck's his name from the Lakers last year that ran out Nick Young.
Yeah,
D'Angelo Russell, yeah. I think he's going to get his ass beat before D'Angelo Russell. You don't talk shit about D Wade and all these other veterans. It's just it's you can't do that in that sort of locker room with the Bulls being a dysfunctional team as it is. So
I think the Bulls. I mean, what they did was willingly brought in Rondo, and he's a known presence issue in the locker room. He's been like that when he was with the Kings. He was like that when he was with the Mavericks.
Celtics wasn't like that with the Celtics. But.
He didn't really have a chance to be. He was still up and coming with the Celtics, but he's just been a problem in locker rooms. And did was took a shot at the wrong people. You don't go at a guy like Dwayne Wade. You don't go to a guy like Jimmy. But you're the third. Not even maybe. Yeah, You're supposed to be about the team. You're supposed to be like trying to make it better instead of going at the guys at the top, the veterans who've been there. So I think that's just an over and to put up with that. He's won his time. He's part of it. So not the smartest.
Brian?
The only thing that's crazy to me is like he questioned Jimmy Butler and Dwayne Wade's leadership, and then the thing that pissed me off was that he put up a picture on Twitter of the big three that he was a part of, obviously with KG and Paul Pierce and him. And I just
he wasn't even part of the big three because it was Ray Allen also.
You're right. Yeah, you're definitely right about that. It's I just thought it was disrespectful. It's like I don't know. I don't understand. Rondo's an odd guy. I'm not really sure what's going on with the Bulls. They didn't have these problems like that before, and now all of a sudden the locker room's divided. You don't really see that too much with them. They're acting like they're the fucking Jets or something.
All right, I'm gonna agree with everything you guys said, but I'm gonna look at it a different way. I think he was right, but I think he handled it. I think he handled it the wrong way, and the reason I think he handled it the wrong way is because he went public with it. But then again, Jimmy and Wade did the same thing right before that, calling out all the young guys for their effort and taking no responsibility for the losses they were stacking up, and then it finally blew up at that Hawks loss. So I think Rondo had the right idea. I just think he went about it the wrong way and should have handled it inside. We're going to move on to,
I guess, the AL Central. I think we should stick with what we're sticking to the same thing. LeBron and Barkley.
Yay!
Kind of.
LeBron and Brian.
Lebanon and Barkley.
Yeah, Lebanon and Barkley. We're getting into the nitty-gritty of the unnecessary.
Yeah.
But Barkley called out LeBron for saying that they needed a playmaker, pretty much saying that, what do you want? You've gotten everything you've ever wanted. You're a great player. Don't you want any competition? To which LeBron replied, he called Barkley out and told him pretty much just shit on this guy. Explained how he's about to fuck up, how he's gambled, he's skipped All-Star Weekend. He spit on kids. He told himself told people he wasn't a role model.
He called you a disrespectful bitch to your face. You did nothing about it.
Right.
Sorry, go ahead.
And, in a sense, okay, from LeBron's perspective, he's right in one sense. I don't think they need a playmaker. They have all the playmakers they fucking could ask for. You just got Korver, you wanted Shumpert, you wanted Smith. But the reason that he's asking for one is because they're all injured now, which is it's not Griffin's fault. They're injured. What the fuck are you going to do? He got who he wanted. He's gotten everyone he's wanted. If they sign one of these free agents, that's just another reason they can't,
who's even available? It's going to help them.
Lance Stevenson, Mario Chalmers.
Yeah.
Lance Stevenson won't go over very well, though.
Kirk Heinrich, whatever. But
I like Chalmers, though.
But yeah, I don't think any of them are going to be a difference maker down the stretch. Maybe it'll be better than DeAndre Liggins or whoever the fuck their backup player.
Yeah.
Whoever the fuck that is right now. But I think, it's nice to see LeBron taking, on the other side of it, it's nice to see him like being vocal and going back at Charles Barkley. I think that's
Well, yeah, no, I mean, I get what he's saying because he's pissed. Like he doesn't see them getting back and winning another championship if they play the way they're playing right now. But at the same time, you put it perfectly. It's not your fault. People get hurt. Season goes on, you get tough stretches and everything. It happens. I don't know. That's really all I had. I lost my thought.
I mean, I personally agree with what you said about being hurt, but he doesn't need a playmaker. First of all, he's the best player in the league. He could walk out one every 5 games and end up making the playoffs in the NBA. So all he needs to worry about is the playoffs. They all get healthy by then. There are talks of them trying to go after T.J. McConnell and Philly to replace Delly. We'll see how that goes. But I don't think they need a playmaker. And I think Barkley's right. Stop complaining and do what you need to do to win. But
no, you're right.
Who was left here?
That's about it. I just thought LeBron was so salty with that post or whatever statement he made. Like, I read that and I was like, oh, shit. Like, he went in on Charles Barkley.
Yeah, no, he really went at him.
And I didn't know that Charles Barkley did have that stuff, so I looked it up, and he's a pretty funny guy.
Yo, they all get paid to do absolutely nothing. Like, they just sit there and talk shit to each other and do absolutely nothing and get paid so much. It's ridiculous. Like, it's hilarious, but I want to fucking do that.
Yeah.
I want to get paid to talk shit to Jesse because apparently I talk shit about the Eagles all the time. You know? I want to...
Oh, dude.
Anyway, moving on to the AL Central, I guess we'll give a quick rundown. It's gonna be a longer episode. I mean, we have still figured out how to fit this basketball in other sports, but for now, it is what it is. AL Central.
So I think we'll run down from bottom of the barrel up to the top. I think this is going to be one of the more boring divisions.
Yeah.
I mean, you have Cleveland.
They're going to run away.
They may run away. Detroit could finally click how they've wanted to, but I think it's going to be boring. But to start at the bottom, I think it's going to be the Chicago White Sox. I think specifically because the young talent they brought in, a lot of it's not ready yet. They have Quintana. They have
Abreu.
They have Frazier. That's all great, but I just don't think they're ready to compete at all. And I think they're going to be competing with the Twins for 4th and 5th in that division. So
yeah, I'm going to agree with that. The White Sox have an incredibly bright future, and it can only get better with trading Quintana or Frazier, or even Abreu. But they are absolutely going to finish last. Their talent is a couple years away from being really ready. They're going to be a lot of fun to watch in like 2020.
They're going to be great to watch in spring training.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be great to watch those guys come up, but they're not going to compete at all.
I think they've just kind of melted down that team, and they know what they are. They understand what they're going through. They're not trying to compete right away, but
trade Chris Sale and try to.
They're 100% trying to compete in the future, and it's not too far fetched to see. The talent they still have there is impressive. Frazier, Abreu, Quintana. They still have David Robertson at the back.
Yeah, I forgot about him. I think he's
Tim Anderson's going to be a bright spot in the future at shortstop. I mean, it's going to be an interesting team. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be if they came in 4th. I think it's going to be a shit show at the bottom of that division.
Yeah.
Between them and the Twins, I mean, the Twins have, most people can't name more than 3 players on their team. But they still have Dozier, and they got, these guys here and there. Sano, if he comes into his own kind of. Byron Buxton kind of has to show up eventually. I mean, he has defensively just.
Buxton had a huge September last year, quietly. Berrios is maybe going to do what he's done in the minors. He's been amazing throughout his career in the minors. When he gets to the majors, he's a bum right now, but he could be great. Like you said, Dozier. They're talking about re-signing Justin Morneau. I don't know what that's really going to do for him.
Didn't they sign what's his name from the Astros? Castro.
Jason
Castro catching.
Who hits like 200.
He's great defensively though. And I think he could really help a player like Berrios. Nick Gordon could make it up by the end of the year. He's just like his brother, quick, hits the ball well, good defensively. So,
D. Gordon's brother?
Mhm.
I didn't know they were brothers.
Yeah.
Oh, no shit. Yeah. The Twins I'm also going to have in 4th place. I think it's going to be close to them in the White Sox, but I think they have a little bit more upside. Dozier's going to be really good, obviously. And they have a lot of young players that could be really impactful.
Yeah.
But I think their young players are just a little bit farther ahead of Chicago's young players.
One I didn't mention who was successful for parts of the year last year was Max Kepler.
Yes.
And he could come back and be their 1 through 4 could be, or hitters could be very competitive. So we just got to see how their pitching turns out.
Okay, I mean, I already told you what I said. It's going to be honestly, I think it's going to be a coin toss. I don't see a reason to say, like, definitively one's going to finish 4th, one's going to finish 5th. But I think it is safe to say that neither will be in the playoff race.
Yeah.
In 3rd place, I'm going to go with the World Series champions from 2 years ago, the Royals. I think they're about to make a massive move at some point.
They have to.
They just gotta they gotta dump their guys. They're not gonna compete. I mean, they just took that hit with Ventura. Another one that just fucking shakes you and makes you think about shit. And he was kind of he was supposed to be their guy in the future.
Yeah, and now their ace prior to that situation was probably Danny Duffy anyway, but he's going to need to step up even bigger than he did. Every single piece of the core that they won that World Series championship with is going to be gone next year unless they can re-sign one. So what they need to do is trade someone like Kane, Hosmer. I don't know if Moose has 1 year left, but
I think he does.
Get rid of him too and start rebuilding that farm system
Anyone.
again.
They did it with Wade Davis already. They already showed that they're willing to fucking rebuild.
Yeah.
And I think Soler, speaking of that Wade Davis trade, could do very good there if given the opportunity and can get consistent at bats.
I mean, he was like 9th fiddle in Chicago.
Yeah.
I mean,
And he was one of baseball's top prospects.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I think he definitely could grow.
Yeah, I think the Royals are also going to finish in 3rd. I think they have a rare chance to stay somewhat competitive while rebuilding because they still do have some really good pieces there, even after trading away. But their farm system is a little down. They can get a lot back for Hosmer and Moose, and especially Lorenzo Cain too. And Danny Duffy's going to anchor that rotation for a couple years, so they should definitely sell sooner rather than later. Or maybe wait till the deadline, I think. Because the deadline, you're going to get a better return, but you take the risk of not shelling out then. But I think they're definitely going to be 3rd.
Yeah. And then moving on to what I think could be a wild card team in the AL. I don't think they have a chance to compete in the division if Cleveland stays healthy. But I think Detroit has all the pieces to be very successful. I don't think Justin Upton's going to have a year like he did last year.
He started out extremely slow last year.
I know, and I don't. He's always started out slow, but I don't think it's going to continue as far as it did. Steven Moya could potentially be another rock for them. So Verlander coming out having another good year. They have all the great veteran pieces to be what I think could be a wild card team in the AL.
Yeah, I think the Tigers are an interesting team. I think they're definitely going to finish 2nd just because 3 through 5 I think is going to end up being so bad. But they're a very weird team. They could definitely compete for a wild card spot, but they could also bomb. And Brett Ausmus is still there, right?
Yes.
He's not going to be after this year. I think he's definitely going to end up getting fired because with that team has so much talent and they haven't been able to put it together the last couple of years. And I think he's been on the hot seat, and I think this is the year he's finally out.
And something we didn't mention yet, Jordan Zimmerman, if he pitches like he did in April and May, that's a ace number 2 for them.
I mean, I think it was kind of cool last year to see with Justin Verlander's resurgence.
Yeah.
And, I mean, they gave up a lot. I mean, it wasn't a lot to them at the time. When they traded Cespedes, they got Michael Fulmer, who turned out to be the rookie of the year, who could, I don't know, he could very shortly anchor that staff. I think Verlander's for the foreseeable future. But Fulmer's shown a lot of promise. And I don't see them overtaking the Indians, especially with the Encarnacion signing. They got Boone Logan today, anchored the bullpen a little bit.
Who did?
The Indians.
Oh, I was going to say.
But they made a lot of moves, and I think the Indians are going to repeat in that division.
Mm-hmm.
But the Tigers are definitely – I mean, I do think they missed out on some opportunities. I think they should have sold a few people off. at very minimum, Kinsler or Martinez, JD, that is. But, I mean, they're stuck with Upton's contract probably for a while unless he shows consistency throughout the entire year. Miggy's just getting older. He's going to provide, but
he's always going to hit.
Yeah.
How long? I mean, you don't want to see Pujols 2.0 with him.
Yeah.
No.
And
he's signed till he's like 40.
But I mean, they still have K-Rod. I mean, I see a wild card opportunity at best. I think that's very possible. But with the AL West shaping up the way it is, it's going to be tough. I mean, the AL West itself might have 2 wild card teams.
A little.
And then there's the East. I think it's the weakest division in baseball.
Yeah.
So saying that the Tigers are a shoo-in for the wild cards is bullshit. It's possible, though. I mean, if they play well, it's possible.
Adding something a little different that we don't normally talk about, we're actually going to start talking about a little more often, but a little fantasy note to the Tigers. Speaking of Michael Fulmer, I know he's going to go higher in drafts than he ever did before, but I would not bank on him if you're a fantasy team because he's not going to keep that ERA with that K rate he has. But we'll get deeper into that once fantasy season gets a little closer.
Yeah. First place?
I guess we're going to go right into first place. I think it's already been named. It's the Indians. I think, believe it or not, their best player, if not Francisco Lindor, is Andrew Miller. And with what he provides in the back end of that bullpen, to me, he's the most it's a 1A, 1B scenario with Kenley Jansen. He's the most fluid, flexible reliever in baseball with where he can pitch in the game, how many innings he can go.
He's not selfish.
What he's capable of doing.
Whatever.
He's not, yeah, exactly. And then you know what? He gets past him, Cody Allen, who's a very underrated, closer. Yeah. They added some depth with Boone Logan, like I said.
Adding Logan gives them the flexibility to do whatever they want.
And on top of that, they have a couple. I mean, what's this guy's name? Jose Ramirez came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It played out of his ass. I mean, they still have one of the top shortstops in the game. Lindor, they added Encarnacion, which I think is something that team needed. They replaced Mike Napoli, who had a great year, 30 home runs, I think. But they replaced him with one of the best designated hitters in baseball. Very affordably at that.
Yeah. What is amazing with what they did last year is they got to the World Series, came this close to winning it. They didn't have Michael Brantley. They had 2 of their best pitchers who had been injured the entire year. I believe Salazar got back there in the playoffs.
He pitched in the bullpen.
Yeah, but imagine a year with Salazar, a healthy Salazar, a healthy Carrasco, Kluber.
Bauer was injured.
Yeah, fuck Bauer though. He's just a dumbass. But he's good.
He's number 4.
He's a dumbass. And then they can slot Santana at first. If he needs some time, they could always put Eddie there for a little bit. But I believe he's going to be the DH most of the time. So that team is solid all around. Even Kipnis at second, they're solid all around.
Yeah, I absolutely see the Indians running away with that division. I would have to think so. I mean, they're just any hole they had in that team they filled. They're going to come back healthy. I think it's going to be very hard to see them not back in the World Series. As good as the Red Sox are, I think the Indians are just a little bit more complete. And, I mean, they showed last year that they could get there with the pieces they have. And I'm sure Terry Francona would love nothing more than to beat the Red Sox in the ALCS.
And if Yan Gomes could ever put it together again, he'd be another huge piece for them at catcher.
Indians are terrifying. Even if only half their players work out, I mean, they're still gonna.
They're still gonna be very good.
They're gonna still be great.
And they still have some young pieces too.
Naquin.
Yeah.
Naquin.
Zimmer's
still in that system.
Bradley Zimmer. Yeah, Bradley Zimmer.
Yeah, Bradley Zimmer. Yeah.
So
they got a lot of good pieces.
All right, so that wraps up the baseball talk and we basketball with the food polls. But obviously, the highlight of this week in sports is the Super Bowl. A little bit last week we did our extra stuff we got.
Brian's asleep.
Brian?
That might be a stick.
What happened?
All right, so what did you
want? Super Bowl.
What did you want to talk about the Super Bowl? Take it over to you.
All right. Well, I guess starting tomorrow morning, I guess I'll put it up or whatever. We're gonna start doing these weekly arguments where we just put up an argument on Twitter and you guys respond and we'll respond to you either from the cast Twitter account or our personal Twitter accounts. So we already did our picks and our sleepers and everything last cast. So for this one, who do you guys think has who would you give more credit to the success of the Patriots, Belichick or Brady?
Connor.
What?
Connor Everett.
Yeah,
It's me!
Connor. Yeah. Okay. I guess I'm gonna go Brady. I mean, not Brady. My bad. I'm gonna go Belichick.
It's hard.
Only because, in my mind, say you have Belichick, Brady comes in. He does, obviously Brady's a great player, does what he does everything, probably greatest of all time. But does he get the same amount of wins going back to the playoffs year after year, going back to the Super Bowl every single time without Belichick? I don't think so. I think I guess a lot of people would say 50-50. I mean, I know Brady's the one on the field making the throws and doing all this and that, but I would go 60-40 and give the 60 to Belichick because he's just a mastermind at what he does. Like, the way he prepares Brady and the way he prepares the defense, like, the man turns nobodies into somebodies, like, on offense and defense. It doesn't even make sense. Like, he gets rid of Jamie Collins, and their defense is, still doing everything that they were doing before.
With least points per game.
Yeah, and I don't even know who they replaced him with. I can't remember the guy's name.
It doesn't matter.
Jabroni Waffle Ruler.
That's the thing about Belichick. Like Brady's a great quarterback, but it's definitely Bill Belichick. I mean, he's taking some of these players who are fucking no names out of nowhere and making them super. Look at Chris Hogan. Chris Hogan was a
college
good receiver.
Lacrosse.
College lacrosse, good receiver in Buffalo, borderline good. And he comes to the Patriots, and now he's like an all-pro in these playoffs. Like he does incredible things with the least amount of players that he can. I mean, he brings no-name players in there and makes them into household names.
Yeah,
and
Chris Hogan is a household name, kind of. It's weird.
Oh yeah, but I mean, I don't remember the last big. I mean, the last big player I remember the Patriots getting was Randy Moss. Like, I can't think of anyone like going there.
Ocho Cinco was there for a little bit.
Well, I mean, like after,
and then before Randy, Deion Branch.
Yeah, but I mean, those like players that go there like during their prime, like no one ever does that. People go there either before after their prime, or if they're drafting like the 9th round. It doesn't even exist. It's crazy. They do with Danny Amendola and Chris Hogan as their.
Danny Amendola was good in St. Louis though.
He was good. He was good in St. Louis. He just always hurt. But now he's declined, but they still get by with him. How, I'm not really sure, but it works. And Gronk is in and out, and Martellus is playing, but is also at the same time making up imaginary children's books while playing on the field. I don't know.
Martellus was an unbelievable acquisition that went under the radar in the offseason. When the Patriots got him, I was like, fuck. Like, he's a very, very good tight end. And if you put any tight end in that system in New England, it's going to be incredible.
Yeah, you're right. You know what pisses me off? Michael Floyd gets hit with it's caught drunk driving, gets released from the Cardinals, and now he's on his way to win a Super Bowl, possibly.
Yeah, that's what happens when you go to New England.
As far as credit goes, I'm not sure. I have a really hard time because I think Tom Brady's the best quarterback of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Purely based off that he can make any receiver great. I don't think you can attribute that all to the playbook. But when Tom Brady's not there, these guys, Jimmy Garoppolo, Ryan Mallett, Jacoby Brissett, Matt Castle, these random dudes that didn't really ever make that big of a wave or stepping in and like just balling.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah, I think it's simple. If you look at that team when Brady's not there, they're still very successful with whatever quarterback they decide to throw in there. So I think Belichick is the most important piece to that team.
Yeah. I think that about wraps it up this week. We'll be back Thursday. Thursday's the day we planned on, I believe.
I think. I don't know. It's up to you and James. You guys have odd schedules.
Yeah, you guys are the ones that.
Some Super Bowl reaction, AL West, and some other fun shit. And we'll throw those food up on Twitter. We'll throw the Brady Belichick argument up there. Tell us why we're wrong. Tell us why we're right. Whatever.
Basically.
And
all right.
Yeah.
Once the Super Bowl goes off,
we'll see you next week.
That's right.
Wait, what was that?
I said once the Super Bowl is done, I'm done with this. I have nothing to live for.
We're gonna get you into baseball.
I have nothing to live for, except for the Knicks. Yeah,
we can talk Knicks. I don't want to do that either.
Talk about the Knicks. It's gonna be too depressing.
All right.